here as who you are now, existing as only a refraction of yourself within a single body called consciousness. But you are not conscious of all of you within it. To be that, you have to be equal to everyone here and one as each here, and consider each one as yourself, equal and one. Then you are conscious of it. Therefore, consciousness as it is understood is a deception. Consciousness as what it is a single body of existence where nobody is aware of each other. And nobody cares, and everybody is trying to be something else than what they are. And therefore you're forever going into cycles of lostness, forgetfulness. So within consciousness, in its multidimensional levels, its multidimensional layers as it exists, lies all the lies you've ever lived. And that you must realize, because that is the lies that will manifest as your next life, until you stand up in the physical as the principle of equality, as all as one as equals, and live till it manifests as the experience of life. Then life is born in the physical, equal and one. And this will continue until this is done. Common sense, obvious. Obvious common sense. Common sense, obvious. But many will be oblivious to it because of their self-interest, which means they have decided that certain values in this world serve them. But they're doing that in disregard of everyone else that is suffering in their name. I would suggest strongly that one do not disregard all beings that is here with you within this experience, and that one change this experience by stopping the experience that is currently going on, changing your experience to a living of principle until the principle become the experience again, and we have changed our experience within the world, and we have changed what the future will bring. We will also then change our experience and our principles in the metaphysical, that means in what is beyond. But a definitive intervention had to take place, because the abuse, there is not one that is here that is suffering now that can claim that they are not suffering. Suffering is real. And it will become more real, because that is what is being created. Before, there was a certain level of control through pre-programmed lives that allowed some to have control over the experiences they will have in the physical, so they had very little suffering and very little calamities, because it was programmed out and it was diverted to other beings that did it on their behalf. Now, there is no protection anymore, so equal and one, those in the physical that has abused will, according to the abuse, experience it, and so will their families and those related to them. That principle still stand. And in your next life, and your next life, and your next life, it is still standing.
Will it be programmed, quote unquote, quote unquote, like before? I mean,
it's already programmed
through the principle of equal one.
It's already programmed through consciousness. Through every action you are taking in this reality leaves an imprint on consciousness. That was managed through pre-programming it, so it doesn't come back to you, but is diverted to somebody else's life. So you never experience the consequences of what you were doing. That diversions has been taken out, so everything is inverting to the ones that is abusing. The more you abuse, the bigger the consequence. there is still a time lag in it, because it comes into play according to the extent of your abuse. More abuse means more compression, which means a little longer you're going to wait before the shit hits the fan. If you are finding you're doing something that is harming another, and within 24 hours you're already paying for it, there's a consequence, then you know, okay, cool, I am getting back to myself because the time lag is not much. If you are harming one now and only in 5 years there's a consequence, then you know, oh shit, I have a lot of shit coming, because it takes so long for each point to manifest because of all the shit, and the points obviously will be equal and one, meaning it is that big in context of what you've been allowed. That will increase. So everyone that purifies, that means that takes themselves from a position where their consequence becomes immediate, and that's what you want to get to. You want to have your consequence immediate. If your consequence is immediate, that you in your words as you speak or do, see what you do and you stop yourself. Now your consequence is immediate, and you're the directive principle within the consequence stopping. Now you have compressed time. It means it makes everyone else's consequence to come quicker. So therefore everyone has got an effect on everything. Making sense?
Yeah. And we have we were talking about a person and their family. So our families are affected by the way we live, either through experience or principles.
And through DNA, obviously, because through the principle that the DNA that runs within you and within your family is of the same energetic signature. It's DNA based. Therefore, it flows much easier through the lines that it's recognizable.
So if I live my life through a principled way, will it affect their lives to push it towards that as well?
It will assist them within their own processes. That means they will become far more effective in dealing with consequence, and there you would call it your example will have an effect. Yes, it's not only the example, it's also what flows from your actions. Your principles will have a bearing on how they become more principled. Initially, it will have an effect on many, where the children will become more reactive, or the parents will become more reactive. That is simplistically so that they can see their actions and the consequence more clearly, and then slowly but surely, through forgiveness and self-honesty, the action and the reaction will become one, which means your act of dishonesty and the consequence of dishonesty will become quicker and quicker and quicker, until you can see, oh God, I'm creating it, and it will go quicker and quicker until it is all here, where you, as you act, you see what you do and you stop yourself. So what do you do with self-honesty and self-forgiveness is you reduce the time difference between action and consequence till it's here. So everyone can thus assist themselves, and that's how you know where you are in your process. Because when your act and consequence is immediate and you stop it there, 3 points, you are now the Trinity-based directive principle within yourself, within consciousness. Now you can actually stop all consequence that is directly related to you.
Well, that's good news for the moments that are happening now, but the past still is playing out.
They will play out, and the same point will come when it comes. Recognize that what is happening is something you have created. Go back to where you created it. Diffuse the point. That means be looking at itself honestly. Forgive it. Realize that it must come again, because you must take it to the point where at the point of your creating this consequence, you're stopping it. You cannot stop the past when it now plays out. I mean, you have not stopped it, you're stopping your recreation of it from the perspective that you are shortening this time span that it must occur within. So now in stopping this time span, you want to bring it closer and closer until you are directive principle.